So Pablo Torre may have just made a really bad argument. Should he be the one shitting bricks now? Welcome in to Clippers Talk.
Here we go, Clips fans.
Clippers talk with Adam Osland. After every game, download every pod. Clippers talks the name. He's a basketball talking golden god.
New episodes after every game on demand.
Follow Clippers Talk wherever you get your podcasts. Clippers.
Welcome into the show. I'm Adam Osland, a compromised Clippers employee that you should discredit everything I say with, because I do have a dog in the hunt. I think people have also pointed out multiple times that they think I've been giving Pablo too much credit, that I've been too fair to him, that I have been more than fair to his reporting, and I am just rooting for the truth in all of this. Whether or not you want to believe that or not, because of my affiliation with the Clippers, I have at least said that and expressed that multiple times. So take whatever I say with a grain of salt. I'm wearing a Clippers hat. What do I know? Let me see if I have the audio correct for you guys. I think it's coming through here clearly enough. Or is it? Someone saying it's kind of low. I am compromised. I am biased. We all have our own natural biases, but I definitely am biased here. But I think I could be objective and say that Pablo Torre made a mistake with something that he is hinging his argument on. I want to play something for you as I just got through the entire episode with him and Mark Cuban, verbally hashing it out. And I saw that Pablo Torre got into it with Jamal Christopher a little bit and retweeted a picture of Jamal with Steve Ballmer. I'm also compromised in that I love Jamal Christopher. So, dismiss everything I say. What does it matter what I say here? No need to respond to this at all, Pablo. I obviously am too compromised and am too in the camp of Team Clippers. But listen to this argument from him.
Let me just do some basic math here, because you raised a really good question about like why this now in the timeline. So the Raptors during 2019 free agency, I'm just looking at the numbers here, right? So they can offer a max of $190 million over 5 years. The Clippers and the Lakers could only offer $141 million.
What was the year?
Over 4 years. 2019.
2019.
Just the
okay.
big,
Right.
Kawhi just won the title, free
Right.
agency. The thing that got investigated by the NBA.
Right.
Because the Raptors and Lakers groups complained. 190, 141.
He's right about these numbers because his initial team, the Toronto Raptors, could offer one more year. And that's the NBA CBA giving teams an advantage in retaining their stars. He's right about this part.
Do you know what 190 minus 141 is?
With taxes, no.
A very Texan answer. 190 minus 141 is 49.
Oh, sure. You're trying to say the numbers match up.
The number, his deal is 48.
Now remember, Pablo Torre started off in his first episode saying Steve Ballmer put in $50 million. Kawhi got $28 million with his deal with Aspiration. He's alleging the money was being siphoned through Aspiration for Kawhi to make more outside of his contract with the Clippers. And then it turned into, by the next show, after some reporting from a Boston outlet, that Kawhi got $20 million in stock options. So now it's $48 million. Well, that's even closer to the $50 million. that Steve Ballmer put in. That can't be a coincidence, right? Just for backdrop here, or for background and reference, that is a major part of his argument here. Can't be a coincidence. He's saying it right now.
He's trying to say the numbers match up.
The number his deal is 48. It's 48.
Yeah, but okay.
But the point being that now we have the proof. It was
No, not the point. Right. The point
I'm saying
is
49
you tied,
to 48.
You tied. No.
Is that a coincidence?
He's saying, is this a coincidence that this money that he's pointing out, the difference that the Raptors could pay him versus what the Clippers or the Lakers could pay him, 190 versus 141, a difference of $49 million. Well, that money was $48 million that Kawhi's getting out of aspiration. That can't be a coincidence, right? Just listen to this again.
Okay.
But the point being that now we have the proof. It was
No, not the point. Right. The point
I'm
is
saying 49
you tied,
to 48.
You tied. No.
Is that a coincidence to you?
Yeah.
Is it yes or no? Is it a coincidence?
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
That's a hell of a
Because you
statistical-
do that. No one
I'm going to point out why this is a coincidence.
looks at the gross delta as the number when it comes to choosing between one team versus another if it's based off of economics. Nobody. So Texas teams know, Florida teams know that you have, Oklahoma teams know, you have a state tax advantage.
I get the difference that these are not, of course, what the take-home pay is going to be, depending on where your team is based.
Is that what matters?
Of course it does, but I'm saying in terms of how this got roughed out, I'm pointing to the question of there was a difference of 49.
So
the deal was very coincidentally 48, and it was also in the way that Kawhi's camp was asking. No-show deals.
No, he
and
wasn't.
also
No.
equity. Let me just do.
Let me tell you why this is a bad argument. And I have been more than fair, I think, to Pablo. And there are parts of his argument that we do need to find out more about. Why didn't they announce the deal with aspiration ever? I think that's fair. Why pay him that much more than any of the other celebrity endorsers of aspiration? And you're not even announcing that Kawhi is affiliated with it. I've told you multiple times, if I was Ramona Shelburne and I was doing my job at Clippers Media Day, the first question I would have asked to Kawhi, instead of muddying it up with overloading the question, which I think she did, which allowed him to go in different directions, I would have just been like, hey, can you point to any promotion that you did? Maybe there was a commercial that was left on the cutting room floor. Maybe there was a social media tweet or something out there, some connection. Can you point to that? But she had 5 chances and couldn't get that right. I think that is of interest. I think the Dennis Wong payment and further payments after it was disclosed to them that the company was hemorrhaging money is interesting. I thought Cuban, though, also had some defensible reasons for that today against Pablo. Cuban also pointed out that Pablo was initially saying, hey, Ballmer put in 50, Kawhi got 28 million, and then pivoted to, well, now it's 48 million. Can't be a coincidence that is that close to the money that Steve Ballmer put in. So initially it's 28 million coming from Ballmer's 50 million. And then with the stock options, it's 20 million more. That's 48. Well, that makes it an even more cut and dry, obvious coincidence, right? Just a coincidence. It's too close to be a coincidence, is what Pablo is saying. He also has said the company aspiration was burning through money so quickly. So my question to that would be, how would Kawhi ever see that money from Ballmer anyways, or from aspiration that he's alleging was initially from Ballmer? Because it's getting used up so quickly before it's getting to those quarterly payments. And he would probably come back with, well, that's why Dennis Wong had to make that payment, I believe in December of 2022 for like 1.9 or just around 2 million, and then Kawhi gets paid his quarterly of 1.75 within 9 days. How can that be a coincidence? But he's hinging a lot in this argument right here that he's making. And I don't think it makes a ton of sense at all. Again, look at this tweet from him. It says, and I'll put it back up here for you guys. It says the Raptors could pay Kawhi 190 million. The Clippers and Lakers could offer 141 million. Was this $48 million no-show deal a coincidence? This is a really bad argument, and I'm going to explain why. Yes, the Clippers hypothetically could have given Kawhi 141 million, 49 million less than Toronto could offer. Guess what happened? Do you remember? Kawhi Leonard didn't end up taking a 4-year deal. Do you guys remember? I don't know if Pablo does. He didn't end up taking a 4-year deal. He took a shorter deal. Now, Pablo's probably thinking, well, that's even more of a reason to have to make up that money somehow. The most the Clippers could offer was 141 million. He's correct. Kawhi didn't take that. Why would he not take that? There is a pretty damn simple explanation, and it's not money being rerouted to him to make up the difference. So now is it a difference of not the 190 to 141? Is it a difference of, I don't know, Pablo, the 3-year $103 million deal he took instead? With a player option on that last year? So not only did he not get the 190 million he could have gotten from the Raptors, he didn't take the max deal he could get from the Clippers of 141. Well, why would he do that? If your explanation, Pablo, is that, well, now they really got to make up the money, because apparently he didn't know this, or at least it didn't come across that way. Maybe I missed it in one of the episodes. Kawhi ended up taking a 3-year, $103 million deal. Why would he do this? Because there's an opt-out, a player option for year 3. In the 2020-2021 season, there's a $36 million player option. And even though he tore his ACL in the playoffs in 2021, he elected to opt out. Why? Because then he could take a new max deal under a higher salary cap increase that would actually end up paying him more. See, the only way Kawhi, and this is the part that Pablo maybe is being intellectually dishonest about because he's smarter in this, and I've given him a ton of credit for a reason, and he should know better than this. But the way he's presenting it, he's acting like, well, Kawhi is losing out by not getting 190 from the Raptors on $49 million by going to the Clippers. So he has to make up for that. That's how he's presenting it. And therefore, that 48 million must be the way they're doing it. That's how he's presenting it. The only way he would have lost out on that money is if his career ended then after 4 years. Oh, and by the way, he didn't take the 4-year deal either for 141. He took a deal for 103 million over 3 years and didn't even finish that off. Opted out after 2. Why would he do this? Because he's still playing. He's never missing out on that money. And even though he had a torn ACL, he ended up getting a new max contract worth more money annually because it was taken in the summer of 2021 with the salary cap is consistently going up. He signed a 4-year, $176 million deal. So actually, and this is the part that was being left out, Kawhi never lost out on $49 million by leaving the Toronto Raptors. This is even pointed out by somebody underneath Pablo's tweet. This guy, Jake P, makes it easy enough. That would only be relevant if it was a demand made by Kawhi's camp at the time of the signing. The way he structured the contract with the Clippers with shorter-term deals, taking the 3-year with an opt-out after 2, meant he actually made more than $190 million. He made $194.5 over a 5-year period instead of the $190 he could have got from Toronto. So that blows that argument out of the water that he ever needed to make up for $49 million lost. It was never lost at all. So if you're hinging your argument to that, that's why they had to pay him that through aspiration. That's easily debunked and dispelled. He never lost out on that. He actually made more on the books with the Clippers because he was smart enough to take a shorter deal so he could opt out and get back in with a max once the cap goes up, and he can make more money that way. I expected better from Pablo here. That is a really bad argument. And that's not his only argument, but that's part of why he's saying, oh, he says it in the tweet, how could this be a coincidence? He lost out by not taking 190 with the Raptors, can only take 141 with the Clippers on a hypothetical deal. He never took, Pablo. He took 3 years, 103. And over a 5-year period made more than 190 million. You're saying he lost out on money. He made more. That's kind of a fuck up. Now I said, you don't gotta listen to me. Clippers employee. But if you go back to all my episodes in the live section, I've given Pablo his due and said, I'll just wait for the truth to come out. I haven't gone after him because I don't know what the truth is. But in this particular area, I do. He didn't take either of those contracts. And the way he's presenting it makes it seem like, yeah, how could that be a coincidence? Well, wait, your starting point there doesn't even make sense because he didn't take the 4-year. He took a 3-year. So does he need to make up for 87 million, Pablo, because it's going from 190 to 103, not 190 to 141? So why didn't you get 87 million from aspiration? If you're saying they have to make up for the money lost with him not getting 190 from the Raptors, but he only got 103 from the Clippers in a 3-year deal. So his point about he could only get this much from the Clippers and Lakers, he took less, they have to make up for it. That's completely irrelevant. He ended up making more money over a 5-year period than he would have by taking that deal with the Toronto Raptors. His entire premise there to make up for this money lost was never lost. He never lost out on money. He actually made more. Kawhi tore his ACL and still got a max deal in the new CBA or salary cap incremental increase, which allowed players to be paid more at that time in 2021 when he got that deal than 2019. The math ain't math in here, Pablo. Some of his other arguments, fine. But this one that he put out there, that he argued with Mark Cuban about, and a lot is put into this, can't be a coincidence. The Raptors could pay Kawhi $190 million. The Clippers and Lakers could offer $141 million. Was his $48 million no-show deal a coincidence? Yes, it was. Because he didn't take the 141. Did you know he took a 3-year with a player option on the final year of that and opted out, and then took the max and actually ended up making more because of that than 190 over a 5-year deal, 194 and a half. So, hey, if he wants to talk about some of the other stuff, why didn't Aspiration ever announce the deal? Okay. Let's see. Maybe there's something to it. I don't know. I'm rooting for the truth to come out. But this is not how you should structure your argument. And this is, I'm not going to say the entire crux of it, but he keeps saying it's too much of a coincidence. And why would the Clippers have to make up for lost money when he never lost out on any money? He made more over 5 years by taking the shorter deal and then getting the max in 2021. I think it's worth considering. What do I know? Not a journalist, a Clipper fan, an employee. The worst type of person you could hear from regarding this story. Why take anything that I say seriously? Dismiss it, reject it, bury it. I was just surprised he made that mistake. And I think he is, honestly, I don't think this comes from a place of having an axe to grind against the Clippers, maybe against Mark Cuban, and the Clippers get caught in the middle of it because it got testy between them two. But I don't think any of this started because he's trying to get the Clippers. I think he's trying to do good work. And you can make the argument that he's been very thorough. He's got 3,000 pages. But that point, you can blow that out of the water. That doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. And I was surprised he went there with it. That evolution of his argument or thesis or assertion or allegation is not a good one. Because Kawhi ended up taking less. So his argument should be that, well, actually, because he could have got 190 and he only took 103 million, he's got to make up for $87 million with aspiration. If you're saying that the money is about, that 48 million is about making up for lost money because he took 141, which he didn't, instead of 190, no. He took 103. So he's got to make up for 87 million. So all of a sudden, the math ain't mathin'. That 48 million ain't enough. That doesn't work. But that's not what it was at all. It was Kawhi taking a shorter deal so he could opt out and get a bigger max in 2021, which he did, and ended up making more than 190 over a 5-year period. Oof. Tough look. I'm Adam Osland. Feel like we found out a little bit today. And you've been listening to Clipper Stock.